Welcome, Jerry. Welcome, Martin. Welcome, viewers. First of all, I want to congratulate, of course, both of you, but especially Jerry. Welcome. This year, you made the 2025 MVPs. For Martin, of course, also for you, a big applause. But uh, yeah, we're used to seeing you in the program, right? So
Yeah, and congratulations to you as well. How many times with 2025 is which of your MVPs is it? Ninth or 10th?
yeah, for me, it's the fifth time already.
Okay.
So nowhere near some of the other Dutch MVPs, right? If you look at Ashutosh and Mark, they're already 10 times MVP.
Wow.
But,
Yeah, hats off to them. I mean, they've done a lot of contributions through the years, and yeah, I think an inspiration, especially to me. Like I'm just like a first timer MVP, but again, very much of you guys as well. I think when I spoke to you as when I was a rising star, spoken to you both, obviously inspiration, someone I would look up to. But now I'm joined the ranks of MVP, and I'm hoping to also add that value and inspire people as well within the community.
Yeah, and since you are now here into the MVP program, the only thing that you need to do is not to stop what you're doing and maybe expand the contributions that you have, but do not shrink them definitely because the community expects it from you. All right, maybe a question to Jerry because he's now the first time joiner and he have come the long way from being a rising star and now a community MVP. Jerry, can you tell us a little bit when you started to contribute, how you got inspired, how did the process look like from your eyes and from your point of view, and maybe say a few words about both programs. You've been with the Rising Star for a year and now you have just joined the MVP. We had the first gatherings with the MVP squad, so maybe share your impressions with us.
Yeah, so I think if I look back in terms of when I started, I think using ServiceNow, I think since probably 2018. I think when I got into the ServiceNow community, probably around 2020, and then also I discovered that where I needed support and where I needed advice, that is the place I'm going to be. I turn to. So I remember when I posted my first question in the community and then obviously getting a response back, really kind of supporting myself, supporting my journey, my own learning. I started to use the community more and more. And then also thinking, okay, now I'm getting more experience and more knowledge on the platform. That's something I would like to kind of give back and support the community and maybe again, look at some of the questions people are posting, and then also kind of responding, whether it was right or wrong. I still contributed in a way of, also, kind of for myself learning on, okay, how do I find out that information from, maybe from a product documentation, maybe from a YouTube video, or maybe just trying something out myself in my PDI, or so like a personal development instance. And then I discovered there was a ServiceNow developer mentorship program, I think back in 2021, which I signed up for, which was I was paired up with a mentor. And to this date, the mentor that I was paired up with, his name was Jacques Clement, and he's based in Luxembourg. I am still meeting up with him every every 2 weeks, and
he's
doing that
also one
mentoring
of
session.
the certified master architects, right?
Exactly,
Yes.
yes.
Then I know him.
Uh,
I've met him several
Jackets
times.
do know
Yeah.
you, William, as well, and also I think he might know you, Martin, as well. So
Yeah,
that
we've exchanged words.
yeah, and he really inspired me in terms of the way he learned ServiceNow, and also I know he was also a rising star as well. Um, and then that's the bit where I suppose when I applied for the Rising Star program, and again I learned that from the community. So from recognition program, and again, things that I did was helping the community, um, possibly, again, creating some of the videos as well as supporting the content. So when I, again found out that was a rising star, it was a good recognition. It's good recognition and understand that I was adding value, supporting the community, and then okay, what's next? What's next after the rising star? So I knew that the MVP was obviously the pinnacle of the recognition, because obviously the rising star is more of a stepping stone into that. But also I know that you don't need to have a rising star to get to the MVP. So you people have been recognized as MVP without the rising star. That's my understanding. Hopefully you both
Yeah.
agree on that. But in terms of, I think, answering your question, Martin, about what I did in terms of to kind of elevate to be able to to apply for the MVP, was I wanted to see my what unique value that I could add, because for me as a as a role of as a platform owner or product owner, I find a little bit of a niche there, that we had a lot of developers, we had a lot of people kind of putting out the same content. And I want to see, okay, well, we didn't have any content specifically in, how we upgrade or how we do certain things from a platform perspective. And that's where I kind of specified my own subject matter expert and my knowledge. And then also, reach out to both yourself, William and Marty, and then can do some collaboration as well. So again, it's kind of, I'm not doing the same old same, but I'm also kind of expanding to say, right, what opportunities are there that I can expand my own knowledge, but also contribute and collaborate with different perspectives as well, because everyone's got a different lens. I've got a particular lens. William, Martin, you've got a particular lens as well, but we can share that knowledge, and then how can we then give that value back to the community?
Yeah, maybe
Awesome.
it's a good bridge to, let me see if we can share the screen, to look at the announcement of the MVPs, right? That
Yeah.
we this screen, browse through it a bit, because we started this channel as well with a joint passion of sharing knowledge, of course, but Martin is certified technical architect, you're a platform owner, a certified master architect. So within the same ecosystem, we have those different lenses. And if you look at the people here, I know a few of them quite well. They work at customers. They work at Anders works at one of the big four, Ashetos, Nationale Nederlanden, NN. So that's a ServiceNow customer. Carlene is a consultant. I think Anker also works at one of the big four. Going through this list of people, you've seen some of them, like this handsome fellow Jerry, is new here for the first time. But we also see, like they say in the US, repeat offenders. Like Corey is there again, Glenn is there again.
Corey, Dante, Ishan,
Donald's
he's
there on
also a
stage.
friend of ours.
Yeah, I've noticed Reeve as well. Also, I noticed also Famila as well. She's the first time MVP as well. But also a co-host, so part of the ServiceNow developer meetup in London as well.
Yeah. Let's go further down the list. Here you see Mike. I think Mike and Martin were always, and Mark, the three M's. The people that I always see if they post something on LinkedIn, it's always a technical gem that they have found out, right? So
Yeah, but
those are three people.
also Martin Jensen's, he's a friend of mine. He's actually the person who helped me launch the developer meetup in Bulgaria, because he's the one who is running the developer meetup in Denmark. And we've been in contact now for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. We are exchanging quite often some useful stuff with him, and I can tell you that he's joining DEMS with the big power and a lot of technical gems as well. So the M row is quite significant here.
Yeah, and then I see Laszlo. I also met him quite a few times, and Martin, you as well. I think in where was it, the World Forum in Germany last year? I think
Yeah.
yeah, it was there as well. If I
Then we
remember
have
correctly, he
Mia.
works at Siemens. Uh,
Um,
Very smart, very happy to collaborate always and help. Scrolling down further, you see also, I think they did an assessment of where over the world also the MVPs come from. And you see a lot of different places, right? It was a well diverse. Paul is there, all the three Pauls. Phil, with Phil Goes Deep. Uh, Raf there. Yeah, we cannot mention everybody by name, right? We know a lot of these people, and a lot of people are also, to be honest, new to me, and I'm very curious on looking them up, seeing what content they have shared and are sharing. And as we said, there's some people that were already there. Final shout out is to Wessel. Wessel is now also joining the ranks of Dutch MVP. So together with Mark, Ashtos, Dhruv, and me, he went also from, like you, Jerry, from Rising Star to MVP, and
Yeah.
the fifth member of the Netherlands MVPs.
Wow, you're doing a lot of growing in the Netherlands then around MVPs. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. It's
yeah.
I think two of them are 10 times MVP, right? So maybe they are driving force on trying to expand it slowly.
Mm. Well, you guys are
No, but
Quite
inspiring. I
powerful.
think that's the thing. You inspire others to get to that level, and then continue to, like you said, be that consistent. Expanding your knowledge, finding different ways of how you explore. Uh, just to how to create content. And again, this is how I saw you guys as creating content and thinking, okay, what could I do as well to also support the overall community, but from my perspective, and also again, you could say globally as well. Obviously the different countries, but again, it's good to collaborate again across across globally as well.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. And having, being a representative of your country is kind of a honor for me at least, because I'm the only one here in Bulgaria and then the whole Eastern Europe. Still, I would be really happy if I have more peers. I'm trying to inspire people to join the community, and they're on their way actually, but it takes time, as you said, Jerry, so it takes a year or 2 or 3 years. But I would like to raise a different question, because we always talk about from the perspective of ourselves and the ServiceNow community. But maybe a question that I would like to ask you both, and especially you, Jerry, because we've spoke with Willem on this topic, is how does your employer accept the news about your participation in the Rising Star and the MVP program?
So yeah, I think the news that I told my employer and also my organization, I think everyone's very happy in terms of the recognition that I receive. And I think that's, I suppose, it's testament of the hard work that we all do. The extra hours that we put in, the collaboration that we do, and again, I can say hand on heart, it's not easy. It's not easy, especially if you've got family, you've got personal lives as well. But I think
And
when
just
you
to
get to
give
the
people an idea, it's currently 10 p.m. on a Friday evening for me.
yes,
Jerry, just you put the kids to bed, right? Martin, probably the same for you. So already had a
Yeah,
long day at work, and then
it
we're sitting here
it's a
talking about these topics to share with others. But just to give you an
yeah,
idea,
but for me it's also a pleasure, because it's 11 o'clock here and I'm having my beer with few of my friends, and it's still better than having my beer alone, especially
yeah.
talking about the things that we love to do. So it's perfectly fine. I mean, for me it's not a burden, but it's something that I love, and this is why I continue to do it.
But also as well, Martin, you mentioned something. You mentioned the word friend. And again, I didn't know you both before I reached out. William, I only met you through when you did a presentation to the Rising Star community, and then I got to know Martin through William. If I didn't get to meet you both, I wouldn't have had to build up this relationship with you both and then have a friendship, because I think, was it since last year September time we kind of got together, and we didn't do recordings every week, but we did things every couple of weeks, maybe every month, but we still kept that relationship ongoing. And yeah, I think in terms of from a friendship perspective, yeah, we've grown to be friends, get to know each other, and I'm hoping to actually meet you both in person when we see each other at Knowledge this year. So I think it's quite powerful in terms of what the community and the things that you do, and what you can get the benefits out of that as well.
Yeah, and I've said it multiple times. We can talk between ourselves about families and the things that we love to do, but also in our daily work we face challenges, right? It doesn't matter if you're a CTA or CMA or whatever title you have, you face challenges in ServiceNow, and you cannot be the expert in each and every corner of the platform. Having this cohort of MVPs and rising stars, more or less you get to know what different people are strong at. For example, Laszlo is strong at scripting. Yesterday I had a conversation with Laszlo about protected scripting tool that I wanted to see what's inside, and he spent with me an hour and a half completely free, just because we are friends. We have our we are exchanging some information from time to time. We are happy when we see each other and have a beer together on some of the ServiceNow gatherings, be it on Las Vegas or last year in Germany. But yeah, this is something which is not described in the description of the MVP program, but you get it with the time, and this is invaluable.
Yeah, and, Jerry, maybe also to add to the question that Martin asked, I think there's also a difference, right? Because you are working for a customer, and Martin and I are working for a partner.
Mm-hmm.
What we have, I had a conversation with my manager and also with the higher ranks in my company, that as part of being an MVP, if I find cool and valuable stuff, I will share that with the community, right? And then having the conversation of what you can and cannot share, or should not share. My current employer, Platformation, is all about sharing. So if we find cool stuff, they say go out, share it,
Mm-hmm.
because if it helps people, if it helps customers, I can imagine for you, of course, on the one thing, you're maybe a bit more free to share because ServiceNow knowledge is not how your company makes the money. But on the other hand, I can also imagine that there's also things specific to your company that maybe don't need to be broadcasted. How is your employer's stance in that?
I suppose because I work in the higher education sector, obviously within the United Kingdom, but also globally as well. I've reached out to other higher education institutions in the US and also in Europe. So I think as a higher education, we like to share. And we also have every month we have something called a higher education coffee club, and that's where all the UK universities that are using ServiceNow will come together, and whether it's customers, whether it's ServiceNow, they would share in terms of what they've done. So any success stories, any issues like we want to share and maybe just discuss to say how can we find a solution to that, because in any sector, everyone does everything very similar. The processes, the way we work is very similar. But again, having knowing that someone's done that, and maybe let's say a new customer that's just using ServiceNow might not have seen that. It kind of gives you the inspiration to say, you know what, I don't need to worry about trying something new, because if I'm going to try something new and if it doesn't work, guess what? I can go out and reach out to someone that I know within the community that's done it already. So for us to share that, to answer that question back, yeah, we're very much very the community is very much able to share and not able to be kind of worried about, oh yeah, we can't share this because it's trade secrets or industry secrets. So that's something within our space is quite good. But also I know within the overall ServiceNow community, it depends on which sectors you're talking to, but again, it's
Mhm.
very much specific of problems that you're trying to deal with. What problem have I encountered, and how do I need to solve that? And again, it's just having those conversations with um, similar roles or maybe developers, and maybe just trying to work out a solution together.
And by the way, since you mentioned the higher ed, one of the current developer advocates, Earl DK, who has been also an MVP previously, is also coming from the higher ed. He has spent few years being a developer with the higher ed institution in the United States. So good for the higher ed institutions. You're producing qualitative people.
Yeah, and I think as well, being in higher education uh, sector, there's opportunities as well where you can reach out to current students as well, maybe in like computer science faculties, or kind of to say, look, there's a ServiceNow tool here that again you could promote that and kind of spread that community feeling as well. To say, whilst I think now what we say ServiceNow learning or ServiceNow part of ServiceNow University, all the on-demand courses are free. So guess what? If you can promote that and get people on board on ServiceNow, there's also opportunities that could they do work experience at a university and learn more about ServiceNow. So that's something we can support with around, um, again, educating the new generation coming in as well.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, Martin, you've been asking a lot of questions. Maybe to ask you back a question, eh? What does being part of the MVP program mean for you?
Well, that's a good one. For me, maybe if I have to say it with a single word, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to be among the most skilled people in the ecosystem, the ones that are willing to share, the ones that are willing to grow together as a community, not as a single person now. And yeah, opportunity to talk about not only about ServiceNow, but also about different personal stuff to spend time together, to enjoy the life and to be happy.
Yeah, very nice. I think Jerry.
And maybe,
Yeah, go ahead, Martin. Sorry.
yeah, I was about to say that maybe it's a good question around which we can do a roundtable. Maybe you, William, also to ask to answer what the community means for you and the MVP, and the same goes to Jerry as well.
Yeah, I like maybe Jerry. I'm stealing a bit of you for what you're about to say, but I'm not sure. I think for me, it's at least, especially these recent years, it's about friendship. You mentioned Martin as well that you consider us friends. I feel the same way. That's a friendship that's building out. I've seen that also with Ashtos and Dhruv and Mark. um, that we're connecting more and more, seeing each other on events, creating content together, and also in changing uh, setups. Right. One day I'm here with the two of you. Ashutosh also joined this show. I we also invited, for example, I expect Laszlo to be rapidly in this setup as well. There's more people that want to join in, and it's leading to more and more friendships. So for me, especially these recent years, where we're more and more collaborating, it's about friendships, and it also opened doors in the CMA program, which also led to new friendships. So yeah, friendships is the word for me. What about you, Jerry?
No, thanks, William. I think from what you both said, very much similar to what the reasons why around what the MVP means to me. But also, I think for me, it's about Yeah, as like you said, Marty, opportunities, but also for me is doing something different to what my day job is. Sometimes when you do your day job, it's very much the same, but by doing something, for me, it's like an extra activity. Again, building those friendships, doing the networking, and creating content. Something that I've never done really before is like creating content. And again, I'm learning new skills for me, but also able to share that out as well, to be able to inspire others as well. Because I've got friends or colleagues that may have asked is, oh, I've noticed that you're a rising star. How did you get into that? Now you're MVP. How did you get into the MVP? So again, it's inspiration to say that, again, for me, I didn't do anything specifically special about trying, like you said, to just put the effort in. I just used some of my extra time to, I suppose, be more passionate about, I'm passionate about what you do. So again, it shows what, if you're passionate, it's not about it's forcing yourself to do this bit of content creating. If you don't enjoy it, then people will know that you not enjoy it. So for me, it's about how I'm learning for myself, but also teaching others that if I could do it, you could also do that as well. Again, it's that inspiration. But I've also got another. I think someone asked me the question is, how do I apply for an MVP? So maybe a question I'm going to throw back to you both is, if people out there are interested in applying for an MVP, what things do you need to do to contribute to MVP, and what do you need to do to apply for that? Maybe go to you, William, first.
Yeah, of course, you have the application page, and it already shows you it tells you to share the content that you've created, the blog post that you're proud of, the contributions that you've made. So filling in that form, I would say it's the final step of the process, but it could also be the start, just looking at the form. But I would say it's all about, I think, Jerry, you mentioned it, about the value you bring to the community. Think about what you now know and you didn't know before. What things that you tell your colleagues that really helps them that maybe can help others. Just already start small with sharing those tips and tricks. Look in the community for questions that you definitely know the answer to, or that you've researched and found a link or an article that helped them. So start helping, and then the rest will follow. I wouldn't say do it with the target of becoming an MVP. That will almost naturally follow. But having said that, I think it also makes sense to have a certain ambition to aim for. As long as, hey, you do it in a positive way, it's also good to have that ambition to say, hey, today I will start to become an MVP this year or next year. Right? Nothing wrong with that. And Martin, what about you?
Yeah, just to continue to expand on what you just said, I said it in a different podcast, but basically my mindset is we are not contributing to be MVPs. We are MVPs because we are contributing. So if you take a look at it this way, you will find the right path to maybe become an MVP someday. And for me, yeah, there are quite a lot of different ways to contribute. Me particularly, I started with answering questions. I was spending like hour and a half with drinking my coffee 5 or 6 years ago with the community trying to answer questions. And the good thing is that uh, looking for questions to answer, you should not answer only the questions that you know the answer to, but sometimes it just can trigger you to research a bit and learn something new for yourself. So this is also what happened. And then I started with writing articles. Then the kids were born and the time was became a little bit limited. So what I'm currently doing is mainly the two podcasts, the one that we are currently on and another one which is focused on architecture with my friend Trifon. I'm running the local developer meetup here in Bulgaria and Sofia, and I am a guest contributor at the SN Guru, which is, if you have been around for quite some time, you know what SN Guru is. Unfortunately, I'm not contributing as much as I would like to there, but this is something that I'm going to change at some point. But yeah, you can become an MVP with different types of contributions, but do not do it with the sole purpose to become an MVP. Do it because you have a passion to contribute to the
Yeah.
community.
And I wanted to just add one more thing. I suppose it's a case of if you are applying for that MVP application, I think normally the application opens up in December time of the end of the year. When you complete the form, you also have to add in your contributions. So I know that from a consistency perspective, they do look at from January, obviously, until December of the contributions you add. So if you are applying for MVP, just making sure that you do add your contributions. I think that's something that I mean, in terms of when they validate or look at your application, they also would validate your contributions as well.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
having said that, I think it's never too late to start. So even if you're watching this in June, July, and you want to get started, it's never too late to start contributing. So on that note, thank you for Jerry and Martin for contributing on this topic. And for those of you watching, feel free to reach out. We always have an open invite. If you think you have a unique angle to add to the 360 view, we're always happy to have you here. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and see you guys later.
Thank
See
you,
you.
everyone.
Bye bye.